Welcome everybody to Grassroots. Hey, this is an awesome new show here at Apollo Media. This show is rooted in telling stories about youth and amateur sports, past, present, and future. I'm your co-host, Evarist and here with Christian Begg. We got some really cool stuff to talk about today. But first, we want to make sure we give a shout out to our mother network, Apollo Media. Please go check them out everywhere on social media at Apollo HOU. That's YouTube, Twitter, X, Y, IG, Logi, TikTok, everywhere at Apollo HOU. This is our pilot episode. Christian Begg, give the folks an intro of who you are. You know, we can't talk about Grassroots in Houston without mentioning Christian Begg.
Yeah, well, first of all, I appreciate this little journey right here, bringing this together. Appreciate Apollo Media. And man, Grassroots. So I've been blessed to be a part of a youth basketball program. This will be year 19, called the Houston Hoops. Competes at the highest level of amateur basketball, right? But Grassroots in general, it all is embedded in Grassroots. And man, over these 18 past seasons, I have seen some of the best NBA players. Man, I remember being in the gym, and little did you know, you were actually in the gym that day when Anthony Davis walked in, right? Everybody knows the story of Anthony Davis, where he grew from 6'3" to 6'10". He started early on that spring scene, and then at the year Nike started this a youth basketball league called the EYBL, Elite Youth Basketball League. And Anthony Davis, that was the year 2010. That was his big, come to. He stepped in unknown and left the number one player in the country. That amongst many other players.
Dang. There's so many players we can talk about when it comes to youth basketball. But here at Grassroots, we want to make sure we give not only youth basketball, but youth tennis, baseball, volleyball, everybody in between a chance to get their shine. Because in Texas, they say it's all about football out here. But, we got some amazing other athletes that's doing great things in all other sports that went on to be Olympians and, and swimming and diving and equestrian. And now we got the 3-on-3 coming to the Olympics soon. And, we got the World Cup, soccer coming to Houston. You know what I'm saying?
When we talk about youth sports, what do you think is the most popular youth sport there is? If you had to take a guess.
If I had to take a guess, the most popular youth sport, I feel like this is a trick question right here.
No, I don't know the exact answer.
I feel like there's probably more youth athletes playing this sport than any youth sport. I'd probably say volleyball.
I'd say soccer.
I was thinking soccer too. I was thinking soccer.
Soccer mom, right? Yeah. No offense to the soccer dads, but everybody starts at the basic with soccer, right? When you're 3 years old.
Right. That's
YMCA
true.
or whatever league, we all started soccer. And just to really see where these club teams have grown to in soccer.
That's true.
So I think that's the foundation sport, because everybody, in almost every sport, what do? You run.
Right. And you know what? In soccer, you get 11 people on the team. Football too, but soccer.
Most popular sport in the world.
Soccer. So you're right.
Football, considered football. Only in America we call it
and we
trash.
And we trash.
Yeah. Especially because we got foreign parents, right?
Everywhere but United States. But look, MLS, we starting to adapt our teams like Austin FC, you know what I'm saying? FC Dallas, so we're adopting those European names to our American culture. But, I want to talk about just grassroots in general. The definition of grassroots in Oxford Dictionary is basic level foundation of any organization. Now, we could talk about rudimentary, the meat and potatoes, however way we want to talk about the beginning, the genesis. But what do you think is the real definition of grassroots?
Man, I think grassroots is starting, really what it says, starting from the beginning, starting from the bottom. Grassroots, right? The roots.
Yeah.
This is where it all starts from. And, in business, most businesses, when they have anything grassroots. They actually lose money because grassroots is everything's given out for grassroots. But now with grassroots sports, it's become something where they make so much money of, like, you know, maybe the teams or the coaches, or, you know, it's become business. And I think I was looking at a stat where it said that Disney, which has, you know, Disney, we talk about Disney, everybody thinks about Disney World and then the Disney production, the movies. Yeah, that they've invested so much in grassroots.
Really?
They expect that the youth sports is going to be a $70 billion yearly business by the time I think 2030, which is not that far away, right? That's 6 years from now. So, but grassroots is just the bottom, and it's just been something that people have found a way to capitalize and make into business.
You know, Disney been at the youth sports grassroots level for a minute. Remember the Wild World of Sports? Yeah. They had a whole complex, all youth. So they've been in the youth sports game for a minute.
Yeah. So you know, it's kind of you know, it's amazing to see where it's come from. But for me, what grassroots really, what I look for it is the teaching, like anything, the foundation of teaching, and it's just, as we dig into this, we find out, have we gotten away from that?
Yeah.
Have we got too much into just what we can capitalize on financially with people? And are we not teaching, not just the fundamentals of these sports, but also are we teaching these life lessons? Because in grassroots, we got our roots, which are our children, our youth.
Yeah.
And that's what has to develop into the future of these athletes and so on. And then there's another thing is, here in America, are we way off compared to like these European models with the development where these guys are, these club teams where they are teaching them young? Yeah. And it's basically sports school, right? Yeah. It's 2 hours of education and 6 hours of soccer, or basketball, or whatever they're teaching. You know, there's something to think about. But the development, their development structure has been amazing. Our athletes are next level, but their foundation from development is
talking about European development, the last couple NBA MVPs, where they been from, Europe. But you know, I want to talk about, just because you've been in the game for almost 20 years when it comes to youth sports, and I know that we talk about rap, hip hop, music, and even movies when it comes to our youth, you know, what they're watching and all that kind of. So I got a movie question for you. So remember the movie Book of Eli with Denzel Washington?
One of my favorite movies.
Okay, so in the end of the, I don't want to there's spoilers out there. If y'all ain't ever seen Book of Eli, turn this off real quick or pause it before I'll give you a spoiler alert. But at the end of the movie, he had to remember all the definitions and all the scriptures of the Bible by his head, and you got to put it down on paper. So I'm gonna give you a little Book of Eli, a Book of Christian question.
Book of Christian, right?
So if you had to write down and recite just one sentence that describes youth sports or just grassroots, what would it be?
Wow. Well, if I had to say one term, I'd say foundation. Break it down into a sentence or a phrase to really describe it.
This the Book of Christian. And, you know, hey, we at the apocalypse. I want to know what this is. 2099. I need to know what grassroots means. And the expert.
The origin of our future in athletics.
Ooh, I like that. The origin of our future. Hey, put that on a t-shirt out there. Apollo Media, we need to put that on a t-shirt. The origin. Yeah. Do it one more time.
The origin of the future of athletics.
Ooh.
But now here's the flip side. Anytime you got the origin, if that origin, that beginning is not grown, is not nurtured, is not watered the right way, then that outcome is not going to be a pleasant one, not going to be one that's desirable to watch or to be around. So that's one of the big things is, and my foundation is basketball. Right. I've been blessed to be a part of such an awesome program. Shout out to Hal Passner that brought me in at a young age. Shout out to a mentor I had, Marlon Lowe. That's, I think, one big thing in coaching, and especially when you're a young coach, is mentorship. Having people that can teach you the right way when it comes to development, to growth, to one of the biggest thing is people management, managing people. You're dealing with children, right? I've been blessed to also work in education. I'm a coach at a school. So I've had to learn how to deal with different people. Dealing with people in a school setting is a lot different than dealing with people in a club team, especially a competitive club team situation. When you have these young coaches, you got to have mentors. Who are you learning from? I'm a big person in respecting the OG, the people that were before me, to teach me and kind of make the adapt or make the adjustments to just the groups we're working to from a coaching standpoint and from a personality standpoint. And not to mention, you have youth. What comes with youth? Parents. That's a big issue.
Yeah, we'll get into that later on.
Yeah, good or bad, you still have
right.
to learn how to be able to communicate with these people.
All right, so grassroots organizations, there's so many out there. We got the club teams, we got the this team, we got the this organization, AAU. Man, there's so many things out there, man.
Hey, look, when you got a club team, right, one of the biggest things people say is, let's call it Team Red. Team Red Elite.
Yeah, I mean, right? Then you got John Doe, Team Red Elite.
Yeah.
Then you got Jane Doe, Team Red Elite.
The elite is that's the catch, like, make them think they're elite.
Yeah,
but you really ain't elite. I'm elite.
Hey, come on, man. Hey, you got one organization that got 25 teams.
Yeah.
Now, on the outside looking in, people will probably say, that's a money grab. So, from your perspective, being in the AAU scene for 20 years, and you've had multiple teams, multiple age levels, and you see outside looking in, and you see other organizations, what would you say to somebody that says something like that?
Well, one thing I want to correct is the term AAU, especially when it comes to basketball.
Okay.
Well, people don't understand, AAU is its own, its own little identity.
Okay.
You have the Amateur Athletic Union.
Okay.
There's AAU flag football, AAU track. There's also USA track. So AAU basketball was big from a group of events. You actually had to play in local AAU tournaments to qualify for to make it to nationals. You had to play in a regional or state qualifier, and then you would go to nationals. It's a very big thing. The basketball in general, travel basketball is what I call it, or select basketball, has really gotten away. They don't participate in too many AAU events. But even back in the day when people did, you were only playing in 3 or 4 events. Let's say you played in 20 events all year, only 3 or 4 of them were AAU events. So we're going to refer to it as travel basketball.
All right, travel basketball.
Watching basketball in general, watching how it's changed over the years, and also talking to my buddies that are, I coach at a school where baseball's big, right? So they have select baseball. Then I have a daughter that had tried to play, was part of volleyball, watching the competitive, the select volleyball or the club volleyball.
Man, it's big.
All this stuff it's become it looks like a money grab.
Man,
right?
I know you got me. Hey,
but now, in defense, everybody's time costs money. To be in this studio, it costs money. These things cost. So these people need to be, paid for their time and their effort. But just for me, especially with basketball, I always try to say, are you getting out of it what you feel you're putting in?
Okay, so that segues to my next question, because if I'm a parent, a little Johnny, and I come to you, Coach Begg, we're trying to decide which organization to go to. Little Johnny is, 6'5", 200, dunking everything. Got the hezzy, got the whole nine. But y'all ain't got no room on your AAU team, so you won't be biased. So outside looking in, where would you tell a parent to send a little Johnny for the exposure, for the opportunity for playing time, all these things come into effect, coaching, player development, skill development.
Yeah.
So like where are you telling little mom
Well,
to take
I
little
would
Johnny?
say, man, by the way, dunking everything doesn't equate to the term elite, just a great athlete, number one. But, you got to look at it. I feel that where I take my child, someone puts their child, are you going to get that? Maybe you're not getting as much time on the court, but are you learning? And it depends on what age, right? If he's a junior, he needs to be where he can play, he can showcase his skills, number
Right.
one. But if you're talking about a middle schooler,
Yeah, I'm talking
or not,
about
somewhere where they are in a situation where they're learning every day in practice. Is practice basketball school? Are we learning? And as I watch basketball, kids don't know what a flare cut, how to V cut to get open, back door, how to slip a screen. Are you learning these things? And so if your playing time, it might not be, you're getting some playing time, a good amount of playing time, but you're not on the court the whole time. It's just got to balance out. Or, are you getting somewhere where maybe the coaching is okay, but you're getting to learn through figuring it out. Like, can I make this move? Am I able to, cross over here and pull up or do this? You got to figure that out sometimes through trial and error. So you got to have a balance. And then before you even go, the next thing is that someone that has a chance to really turn the corner. Are you going to a situation where you could put on that stage for exposure? But there's also the thing where you can get exposure or you can be exposed. So sometimes you don't need to be at that top level. You need to be at the level where you can showcase your skills, maybe not against the best of the best.
So what I'm hearing is, if I understand correctly, if I'm me and I got my son, I come to you for some advice, you're gonna tell me opportunity. Tell me exactly okay, if I come to you, tell me what you gonna give me for my son. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, this is what your son's gonna get better in practice. This is what you're gonna learn. Okay. For instance, specifically for the program I work with, the Houston Hoops, you're going to be put on the biggest stage. Now, I don't know, maybe I have another guy at your position that you can compete to beat that person out and you'll get some minutes if not, but that person's going to get, 75% of that time there.
But see, that's where it come back to this whole AAU grassroots. It's basically all politics at the end of the day. Because if my son's a 1-star, he don't get any run on your team.
Well, I mean, but listen, if you're a 1-star businessman, should you be getting more? Should I be promoting your business over that 4-star business?
I mean, I don't know. The 4-star guy might have an attitude, may think you know what I'm saying, prima donna. The 1-star guy might come in, work hard, see the opportunity.
That's why you have to be involved with people. They're gonna be like, hey man, that guy has worked to earn this opportunity. Right. And sometimes people get outworked, you get outplayed, and then there's the factor of, oh, this person's been with me as a loyalty, which matters.
Yeah.
And I think we need to be more honest with our athletes. The one thing, and I'm going to speak specifically for basketball, I do notice that we can be here in Houston. I'm going to speak Houston, Texas here because we H-Town. Man, you got 10 guys on your team and people are, there's not enough time for these 9 guys. And, it can be tough. But then I go and I see these programs outside of the state that are winning these events, winning the Peach Jam or something, and they're carrying 12 guys and they're all going to college, and those guys on the bench clapping for them. We don't seem to deal. It's just a little bit of a different culture down here. But I don't know. We also started, for example, Texas was one of the last places to be allowed to have quote unquote travel or AAU basketball. Wow, we started late. I think it was the early 90s that we're allowed to actually be able to travel to do basketball.
Oh, okay. All right, we're going to segue into this next part of the show. It's a hot topic right now all across all sports, and that's the transfer portal. And I feel like the transfer portal is really kind of rooted in some of this youth, amateur, grassroots sports where athletes are getting all the playing time, all the love, all the shoes, all the everything. And so, in my opinion, I just wanted you to talk about just how you seen the transfer portal be affected by some of these athletes coming out from the Who's Who programs or the Who's Who's coaches or whatever.
Man, well, I'll say this: a lot of the things in the transfer portal from a lot of these athletes, these young athletes coming in, they're choosing the wrong level. Okay. And sometimes we're getting caught up and I need to go to this level of school and you're not ready to participate there. That's one part of it. Another part is we're in the microwave age, right? I remember, what's my guy, the Jet that played for the Mavericks? What's his name?
Jason Terry, Arizona.
Seattle. Man, he had to sit a little bit before he played, right? And we're talking about a guy that played, I think, 19 years in the NBA.
Yeah.
So everybody wants to come in and do these things right away. A lot of guys had to sit and wait their turn 1 or 2 years before they can go off and be really good pros. So I think that's affected it. I think that on the reverse, how this transfer portal has affected people is, first of all, as a coach, and if I'm making, let's just give a round number of $1 million a year, I'm not going to lose my job behind an inexperienced high school player, right? So instead of getting this inexperienced high school player, why not go and get a 22-year-old that has the rigors, has gone through the experience of college basketball, knows how to compete, knows how to get up at 6 a.m. for weight room, film, then go to class and things. So that's part of it. It's also affected the high school player because now the guy that would be recruited to go to this school, he's losing that opportunity because as a coach, I need to win now. I'm going to go to the portal and get me a guy that averaged 8 points. All you need to do is average 8 points in college. Then you're eligible. Then you're recruitable to somebody.
Well, back in the day, when you first started off in AAU, you had to transfer. If you want to transfer, you had to sit a year. And that was from infinity to a couple, let's just say 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. Now, you could transfer, play right away. But now they got a new rule they're trying to legislate. You could transfer twice and play right away. So my question for you is, you've probably had a lot of athletes that you coached over the years that called you like, Coach Bear, I'm thinking about transferring. So what kind of advice would you give a kid out there, parents, coach, or whatever, if your kid wants to transfer?
Well, first of all, I feel that our hoops program has been lucky. Not that we've had kids that transferred, but overall, I think a lot of the guys have kind of found their fit.
Okay.
We try to be, everybody has somebody with them. I don't want to say a handler, but they come with people, or parents are more involved also. So, our job is not to change their mind, but we're here to offer advice when needed, give our input, and especially when asked. And we've also been blessed to have some really high-level players, so they were the guys that, they were getting out of there going to make money before they were transferring. But in general, man, it's that whole thing is tough, and it really affects that mid-major level with the second transfer. I understand and respect that first transfer. I think it's a pretty good idea. It opens up an opportunity. You know what it does? It opens up opportunity for some of these kids to make money. Kids are transferring a lot of times not based on what's best for them. They're able to get money from somewhere else.
But before NIL was a thing and all that kind of stuff, we knew there was some under the table dealings and all that stuff going on. But now with NIL, that's a whole different subject for a whole different day.
But going back to that, for that mid-major school, if you come and we develop this young guy, right, or maybe we get a transfer and they transfer down a level or just to a situation that fits them, now I'm able to really show my game. Now I go off and I'm averaging a double-double or whatever the case is. That second transfer, now that guy's just going auditioned for another team to come in and snag them. So those mid-majors are now, man, nobody's able to really stay and develop their program.
So So the whole transfer situation, I ain't gonna lie, I coached in college for 10 years, and when guys, I'm sure it happens on the women's side too as well. They get disgruntled, they ain't getting playing time. They, bitching and moaning to the strength coach, to the trainer, to assistant coaches, everybody about playing time. And now with NIL opening up, kids are transferring to get that NIL bag. Mm-hmm. And that's really the wild, wild west, to be honest with you. So here's my question to you. If you, Administrator Begg, you're the president of the NCAA, what kind of transfer rule would you put in right now?
I think based on today, how I feel right now.
Yeah, right now.
How I feel right now, I'm allowing one transfer, and I'm allowing that grad transfer. I feel that if anybody can go to a school and you can graduate, you have the right to go, and you have eligibility. You have the right to go to any school you want, play right away. I'm allowing one transfer because guess what? We all make mistakes. You can, get married, decide, hey, we made a mistake, annul that marriage, divorce, excuse me, whatever it is. You go and you pick a job and you decide this job's not for me. I can switch, and then we can do that as many times as we want. But I don't know how good that looks on your resume.
Hey, for real.
Same thing with the transfer, but I think we should be able to transfer one time, and not including the grad transfer. And I think you're locked right there.
So let's take that back to youth sports, because sometimes I see some youth athletes, they done went to 18 different high schools. They done went to this high school over there, that high school over there. They transfer. Is that the same kind of logic or no?
Well, I think that it does this. The college right now looks a little bit like I hate to say it, I'll use the term AAU because that's what the AAU culture where we can just go, we can switch teams. And there's nothing that like governs this really in youth sports. Luckily, Nike started something like I talked about the EYBL. Yeah. I think the other shoe companies have something similar. There's rules. So like a kid,
ain't no rules, man.
No, not like a kid can leave a team, but there needs to be a certain level of communication between the teams. And then they have the people that run the league. They can, I've been in situations where guys have said, no, you can't take. I've been in situations where I said, hey, I think these people would like to do this. I would like y'all to bless them leaving. They said, no, it's locked. And so, they've tried to. But overall, that same amateur sports, we can go to this team. And I'm sure the same thing happens in youth volleyball, club volleyball. You just got to pay your money and go to the next team. Or club baseball and club softball. So, but I think that transfer, I think that goes there. And, I don't know about the statistics in football, NCAA football, and the other sports like volleyball, how many transfers they're getting and how that's going.
All right, Begg, Coach Begg. Now,
that's school. And summer ball, it's Coach Christian.
All right, hey, Coach Christian.
Let your hair down. I ain't got no hair, but
you did that roll game.
I tried that back in the day.
It didn't work. It didn't catch.
Nah, man, you see where I ended up.
But all right, so in youth sports, let's talk about specifically youth basketball. The one thing that is like kind of the driving force out of all these teams is the sneaker culture, the sneaker teams. You got the Nike circuit, the Adidas circuit, the Puma, all these different circuits out there, right? Mm-hmm. Basically, if you ain't on one of them circuits, you ain't really getting the looks. If we want to be honest. If you ain't on an EYBL team, basically what you doing? Nah. You know what I'm saying? Hey, well, look, you know what? I take that back. My folks over at Adidas, you know what I'm saying? They got some stuff coming up too, you know what I'm saying? 3SSB, you know what I'm saying? So EYBL.
It's all about that EYBL. Hey, now look, with social media, guys are getting found playing on not on shoe company teams, but I think that the majority of the players are playing in these events. Right. And also you're getting the best against the best, which college coaches want to see.
So up until recently, if you was on a Nike team, if you was on the Houston Hoops, you going to college, you most likely 99.9% going to a Nike school.
I think so.
So
I think guys are going fit, man.
no, I'm talking about as of late. I'm talking about early on, or back, not year 1, year 2, year 3.
Back in the day,
you know what I'm saying. Back in the day,
the brands are competitive.
If you got 10 guys on your team back in the day, not saying now, probably 7 out of 10 guys going to a Nike school. 50% at least.
I think that the guys are going fit. Look, I'm pretty sure if you got a number 1 player in the country, you want him to. But hey, Andrew Wiggins was was the number 1 player in the high school. EYBL guy for CIA Bounce, Kansas. Kelly Oubre, one of my favorite people I've ever coached, favorite family to be around, Kansas, right? So, but then, but I do feel that there is a part, I'll tell you this one. If Nike has a guy and he goes to Duke, Nike's beating their chest a little.
All right. So if a Nike kid, like you mentioned, like a Oubre or Wiggins, these guys are coming from big time Nike elite programs. They go into an Adidas school or going to Under Armour school. Mm-hmm. Is the Nike folks pissed about that?
Well, I'll say this. I'm gonna use better one. Here's a great example. Derrick Rose. One of the best things about amateur sports is seeing the guys at the amateur level. That's my biggest draw to this. My first day with the Houston Hoops, I'm on the court. I'm watching.
You green like a boy.
I'm water boy. I'm asking a bunch of questions. And listen, again, expecting the OG. Greg Wise, head coach at Yates High School. Son Nick Wise, Houston Hoops player, played at Arizona. Was a great mentor. Byron Gibson, D-Gib Hoops. Son was Daniel Gibson, doing a great job. Assistant coaching with Cleveland Cavaliers right now. UT legend, Houston legend, right? Those older men really helped mentor me, but I'm sitting there and it's Derrick Rose and Eric Gordon in the backcourt together. Damn. Okay? Well, guess what? They played for Mean Streets. Out of Chicago. Very successful program. Eric Gordon goes to Indiana, Adidas program. And Derrick Rose goes to Memphis at the time, Adidas school at the time, elite Nike right now program. But I think the difference between that is, at the end of the day, it's a bidding war, okay? So people are going to go with whether they feel this is the better brand, or some people pick the money and the marketing. And all these brands have different ways they want to market people. If they have KD, another brand might say, well, why you want to be in his shoes? But I also think that, from my experience, Nike makes the best shoe. That's best basketball shoe, right? Get them a little plug. But
hey, James Harden had the number 1 basketball shoe last year, Volume 7.
I don't know about, but guess what? He was with Nike, right? He started with Nike.
Was the key word. Yeah.
But look, I think it makes it harder for those guys. If Derrick Rose is at an Adidas school, well, who has access to him every day? That brand right there, right? So Nike has to really work a little harder to with that relationship. They have that relationship from the youth sports, but this is also a world where it's like the who stroked you last, right? What have you done for me lately?
Who brought that bag? Who brought the box of?
So now if I'm at Duke, okay, I'm so more familiar with the Nike is what's stroking me last. I'm with it every day. I'm so more familiar with it, right? So it makes it probably a little easier in that recruiting process for that athlete. Now, we're talking about grassroots, but this is the elite of the grassroots. And I really think when it comes to basketball specifically, grassroots is about selling shoes.
Yeah.
Okay. Because again, this is a product that loses money, the money they put in for these teams' products. So they're spending all this money to find the next guy that can do what? Sell shoes.
So
and hold on, Derrick Rose, what did he end up being? MVP.
Right. So in Adidas, by the way.
Yeah.
So hold on, let me ask you a question. In your 20 years, Now I know because I see it with my own 4 eyes. You know what I'm saying? I see it clearly. With the kids, they be clamoring over the EYBL Jordan 1s or EYBL KD or blah 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 blah. Now I'm gonna ask you a question. Over the 20 years that you spent doing this EYBL thing, you done seen a lot of shoes. So give me your Mount Rushmore of EYBL shoes you'd have ever seen. Your top 4 EYBL shoes.
So again, plugging the greatest youth basketball league ever, the EYBL, not just from the product and Nike does it right, but just the organization. They started this deal. What happened is in Grassroots, kids were going out to these tournaments. You go to a tournament, you beat the first team by 30, you're BSing through pool play, right? And it doesn't get competitive, or guys don't, these super teams especially don't take it serious until, you're getting closer to championship. They created a league. So now every game matters because you have 4 divisions. They kind of did it like the NBA. You have to qualify to make it to the pinnacle. That's the Peach Jam. And that's a tournament setting. So it's amazing. So everything, it's a war. It's competitive. It really changed the culture of travel basketball. So we would always, before we were just Nike events. I got stories about that. But going down to the EYBL, if I knew now what I knew then, I would never have gotten rid of so many shoes. The best one, I think this
Mount Rushmore, I'll give you a top 4.
Mount Rushmore.
Top 4.
This year, KD they started re-retroing KD shoes. So he has a KD 3. I think a KD 3 Christmas just came out.
That's an EYBL edition?
No.
I'm talking about EYBL edition only.
That's just his shoe. But they did a KD 3 EYBL shoe. And it was shiny. It came in different colors. So for us, and any other team that were like a little bit red, we had like a black and red pair. All I can say is beautiful.
All right, that's number 1.
That was amazing.
All right, that's 1.
They also had a KD 4, I think it's one with a strap. Also very beautiful. Like the resale on that. Now, this guy is unfortunately not with Nike anymore, but I think the second best shoes. So that's 1. Those are 1, 2. Those are 2 KDs. How many do I get?
You get 4. You get 4. Come on.
Oh no, you can't.
Yeah. You Mount Rushmore. No, there's no 4. Okay. There's no 5.
Okay.
We talking about 20 years of you
I'm going
shoes.
KD 3s right now.
All right, good. KD 3.
The black and red.
Black and red.
They had an all white Kyrie 2.
Ooh.
I still got a unworn pair. It's actually given to my son. I just haven't handed it over yet. These things is icy. They are so nice.
All right, Kyrie 2.
Kyrie 2.
All right, that's 2.
Kobe's going through with the Kobe Bryant thing where just recently, I don't know if you saw in the news before they didn't. Like the contract was over, they re-signed.
Yep.
They released a purple KD.
The Protos?
Kobe 6. That might be number. If I had to rank that.
No, there's Mount Rushmore, no rank.
Okay. So that one is 3. Amazing.
All right, yeah, one more, last one.
They have a Peach Jam edition Kobe, I want to say it's 9, 10, or 11. I don't know which one. It's the one that got the dashes on the back.
Okay.
For when he
tore his Achilles. Yeah,
it's a low. On the bottom, it says Peach Jam.
Ooh.
It is like a sail wood bamboo-ish.
Bamboo-ish?
All I know is it's just beautiful. That shoe is amazing. One of one type of shoe. All right, man. So those are the 4. So 1 KD, 1 Kyrie, 2 Kobe's.
All right, cool. I saw some. I got your Mount Rushmore. I only know 1 shoe, and that's this past Peach Jam. They had the Ja Morant. And it was
2 different. They're both different colorways, but they did 2 different colorways of the Jaws. That was pretty awesome.
Because one of the Peach Jam sessions was in Memphis. Yeah, that's when they debuted them boys.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Hey, they did a really good job with that Josh.
Hey, shoe. shout out to everybody. Hey, look, if you watch this show, put in the comments your top 5 all-time top Mount Rushmore shoes ever. No matter if it's soccer, volleyball, baseball, Mizuno, whatever it is. Put your top Mount Rushmore shoes in the comments, and then we're gonna read them on the next show.
Man, you know it's crazy. So right now, like there's a big sneaker culture, but back in like 2011 before, we used to get like Concord 11s. I remember one time we got like a whole stack of Concord 11s to hand out. Same ones that people online like they like there was a flashback from the news from like 2011 where people were like breaking into the mall over this shoe, and we got like a stack of pairs to hand out,
like candy.
Retro 5s, retro 7s, all that just to hand out. And then I think in the last few years when they really started going to the EYBL shoes, we didn't get those anymore.
So y'all basically just getting they getting the signature shoes that make them EY. All right. Before we go to the next part, the next segment of the show, tell me what your Mount Rushmore of other brand shoes that you've seen in youth sports, from like Adidas, Puma. I know the Mellows were fire for a while.
I really haven't got it. I'm so locked in with Nike. I don't get to check. But back in the day, Adidas did a good job with that Pro model.
Ooh, everybody was wearing that Pro model. Pro model was like the number one basketball shoe.
And LeBron was wearing that back in the day. Ooh. And everybody was I don't think people back in the day respected how much when Kobe, before he came to Nike, those shoes they made at the time. But I think that also goes to the athlete that's wearing it.
So, all right. So I'm going to give you my Mount Rushmore basketball shoes that aren't Nike shoes. Right. 4 shoes. I got them. And you probably going to say, yeah, you right. Got to put the Grant Hill feelers up there. Gotta put
I had a pair of Grant Hills back in.
Hey, gotta put the AI questions on there.
I had the
Reeboks
AIs back in the day.
Gotta put the pump Reeboks on there. Used to pump them things up. Thought you was gonna dunk on somebody. That's 3. All right, so my last shoe that is not a Nike shoe, that is another brand shoe that I think that's just like probably like all time like classic. You not really a basketball shoe no more today, but the Chuck Taylor, OG Chuck Taylors. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't wear them now because they ain't got no ankle support. But them
I wear them out just not to play basketball.
Yeah, I'm saying now you can't really wear them out.
It's crazy. All the best lifestyle shoes were once basketball shoes.
For sure.
The Chuck Taylor, the Nike Dunk, the Nike Air Force One. Those were all. Even the Jordan 1, right? Yeah. These were basketball shoes back in the day. They're all lifestyle shoes now.
Yeah. All right, so we're almost wrapping up the show. I got a couple more questions for you. You're the subject matter expert on everything youth basketball. So I've only seen, when I was coaching in college, we weren't allowed to go watch high school games. That was an NCAA violation. Well, I've seen a couple games here and there. Yeah. So you've seen a lot more youth basketball than I have. So I want you to tell the viewers, to everybody out there, what's your all-time starting 5 youth basketball players you've ever seen with your own eyes?
Man, I've seen. And we're going to keep this Texas-based,
You can do Texas-based.
We're going to keep it Texas.
This is Texas-based,
right? Texas, I'm mostly focused Houston.
1 through 5 only.
Ooh. All right. So, okay, this one player,
come on,
I got to coach. Listen,
come on.
I get nervous before games. But anytime this guy was on the court, I felt very I was most confident because I know if a rebound was everything he would do, from defensively to not try to do too much to offensively. And if a rebound, more importantly, he would grab every rebound, especially for his position. Justice Winslow. Okay. I'm putting him probably at the 3.
At the 3. All right, go. And these are not just players you coach, but players you've seen with your own eyes.
All right, so I'm going to backcourt and luckily I got to coach both these guys, was De'Aaron Fox, who's having an amazing season thus far, and a young guy that I personally, I don't know the ins and outs, but, he wasn't on put it this way, he was one of the guys that was not allowed to be considered in trade talks for Philadelphia 76ers, was Tyrese Maxey.
All right, so you got Tyrese Maxey and you got De'Aaron Fox, your 1, 2, and Justice Winslow, your 3. So who's your 4 or 5?
Oof. Excuse me.
Or just post because,
Man, I might have messed up. might have messed up.
Come on.
I have to go back to the old school, true to H-Town. Let me see how it fits.
Ain't no sense, man. You got to bump somebody off now.
I ain't bumping them yet till I get the other ones because we might just be small. I'm going Tommy Mason Griffin out of Madison High School, McDonald's All-American, went to Oklahoma.
So y'all small right now.
Right now we small. He's the best player I've seen.
All right, so you only got one more spot then if you keep it with those.
Man, yeah,
you got Mason Fox. You got Maxie Winslow. You only got one more spot.
Yeah,
you got to need and Winslow playing the four.
He's playing the four. We're just gonna be able to be real fast and athletic. I'm going DeAndre Jordan.
Ooh, wow.
From Houston, Texas, Episcopal High School.
All
right. DeAndre Jordan was so talented in high school. And he didn't even know it yet. And just to look that to this day, he's still playing NBA champion last year with Denver Nuggets.
True.
I'm going DeAndre Jordan. These are guys I saw. I didn't get to see guys like Chris Bosh.
Yeah. I'm talking about guys you've only seen.
Guys that I've
all right,
seen
so I'm going to give you my starting five. Hey, your starting five. My starting five about to bust your starting five.
Right, go ahead.
So I only seen a few. My point guard, I'm going Justin Begg.
Okay.
My point guard, I'm going Justin Begg. My two, I'm going Austin Rivers. I saw him.
Wait.
Hey, I'm not down to Texas.
I went Texas.
I haven't seen that many. You got 20 years. I ain't got that many years.
Okay,
so my pool is small.
Go ahead.
I only see a couple guys.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, Justin Begg, my point guard. Number two, Austin Rivers, my shooting guard. Mm-hmm. Number three, Kelly Oubre Jr. is my small four. I seen it. I seen Kelly. The Harrison twin. I seen him play the Harrison twin. Hurt them boys.
I'm trading somebody and putting Kelly Oubre on my team.
No. You can Justin Winslow. I got Kelly Oubre Jr. as my four-man. My five-man, I'm going Julius Randle. I seen him in Dallas when he was dunking on boy. My five-man, I seen in high school. He was a McDonald's All-American. He's not from Texas, but he was a McDonald's All-American. 5-star athlete, Dedrick Lawson. Woo! He was cold. He had a touch around the rim. 6'9".
Okay, so I was just giving that was a warm-up one for me.
No. Wait till the next episode.
By the way,
that next episode
Julius Randle is one of the most dominant guys I've ever seen in high school basketball. I missed on that one. You're right. And then he's a pretty darn good pro, too.
Yeah. Those are guys I see in my own eye.
If I went national, I'm adding the best player I've seen in the EYBL during the time he played there, Harrison Barnes. Harrison Barnes was a monster in high school. Hey, and I gave all those names, but Kelly Oubre is my MVP. That's my dude right there.
Hey, man, that's my first pick.
I got you.
Hey, I'm surprised you ain't go Justin Begg at point guard. That's
non-biased. Non-biased.
Hey,
for those that don't know, that's my son.
I've seen less point guards, so you see more point guards than me. So my pool of point guards is he's balling right now. Yeah. All right, so listen, we're gonna round out the show. We got this segment of the show called "The Grass is Greener," where we give all our guests and people that come on the show the opportunity to show some love to their organization. So Christian's here today. He's with the Houston Hoops AAU organization, one of the most prolific, well-run. Think about the San Antonio Spurs in the NBA. That's what you think about the Houston Hoops at
some
AAU.
Of the best pros ever. Marcus Spears on TV came from the Houston Hoops program.
So the grass is greener. This opportunity for you to just kind of show your organization love. So tell us why the Houston Hoops is the creme de la creme.
Well, I think just, a lot of people just try to go off tradition, but we live that tradition. We're going to run things the right way. It's a program where you can come and showcase your skills, right? Get coached, get an opportunity to play at the highest stage. And, we run it the right way. Hal Passner, who I think is one of the most influential people in summer basketball all time, started this program many years ago, had people come through there like Steve Jackson, Kendrick Perkins, who's doing a great job on TV right now. We mentioned Marcus Spears, who could have been a lot of people feel he could have been an NBA player.
Martellus Bennett,
right?
Great job.
Josh Pastner, who was last the head coach at Georgia Tech, now doing a good job on ESPN and CBS Sports. And, the relationship with Nike has been very beneficial to play in this. We keep, plugging the EYBL. We've been lucky to be one of 38, 36 teams across the country to be involved in it. And, we're going to teach young men, help them to become young men outside of sports and achieve all their goals and dreams through basketball.
And also, too, y'all going to give them some fresh gear, some fresh kicks.
They love the gear. They love the gear.
Hey, look, we love the gear. Hey, everybody love the gear. You know what I'm saying? Hey, when I think about the Houston Hoops, and I think about, one thing I think about that's, in my opinion, that I love about the program, aside from that, I've worked with you in the program a few times. I just love the fact that from the day one till day now, it ain't never changed as far as the organizational structure. And I had the opportunity to coach with the San Antonio Spurs as an intern for a while. And you always hear about the structure that Greg Popovich had and R.C. Buford. And that from 30 years, of the same kind of culture, right? And I just think that y'all have had consistent leadership in y'all's program from Hal, from you, from some of the mainstay folks that have been involved in the program. And I think that's one of the main testament to why people want to come play for the Houston Hoops, why people try to poach players from the Houston Hoops, because they know that y'all got everything sold up.
And, it's Hal Passon will never come out here and take a bunch of credit, and I'm a low-key guy, but we've had a lot of great coaches and volunteers and the parents and the players involved that have made this thing great. We just want to continue to do it. And there's other great programs in the city of Houston, in Texas, but we'd like to always think of ourselves as just, that consistency in doing this and continue to keep that going.
Hey, before we leave real quick, give us a story. Give me a story about one of your funniest AAU stories that you could tell on camera that you just remember, you left the shoe bag, or you didn't, something.
I don't know about shoe bag, but listen.
Hey, look, so just give us a story. The basketball bag or something.
That first year we had a
when you was green.
I was green. I'm early 20s. And I had this player, I'm not going to mention his name, but he was the kid had a lot of potential. Kind of went through some things, didn't really get to maximize that potential, but he was big 6'9", 6'10", and he was the goon, he was the protector. So I remember we get to Vegas, we're playing in Vegas, and we're at the hotel, and man, we're just chilling. And it's taking a while. I think we came in late. You lose all that time, whatever the case, or actually gained the time, but it was late. And the coach got out the car to go try to check people in, and I don't know if it's taking too long. He honking that horn behind him. I get out the car. Man, this big old 6'10" dude, he come out the car ready to fight me. It was all love ever since. But dudes had to come hold him back. And like I said, I was probably about 23 years old. Coach dug into him, and I think he tried to punish him. I was like, nah, coach, it's all right, man. He was just irritated. So, we had this. I had another one where we had this really talented player, Keith Frazier, McDonald's All-American.
Oh yeah, I remember him.
So we had a stacked team with 4 NBA guys on that team, I think, or 3 other NBA guys. And Keith, he joined our team late. He's coming off the bench. He's only getting about, I don't know, maybe less than 20 minutes a game. Not because we were just so really complete. Mm-hmm. So everybody was playing balanced. He was leading us in scoring, right? And leading us in maybe steals or something. He comes, knocks on my door, 6 a.m. So I'm like, man, what kid's up at 6 a.m? We didn't have an 8 o'clock game or anything. He goes, Coach, come here. Come in the hallway. He said, Coach, look at this. They had the stats. He said, man, look at this. Man, I'm averaging 16 points a game. Look at it, going through. Look at these minutes. Coach, you give me a few more minutes, man. We're going to imagine what we can really do. But what I liked about that is I respected it. It was all love how he came. He didn't come at me like, Coach, why should I be playing? He was like, Coach, you give me some more minutes, man. I'm going to get that up to 20 points. And his number one focus was about winning. And I that's just a story that stuck to us. Keith Frazier had the prettiest jump shot. I mean, that thing was like Ray Allen-like in form. Shot selection, not so much. But
I got to kick Austin Rivers off my team.
Yeah.
What's my man I seen a long time ago at Wheatley?
Wheatley.
We went to Wheatley.
Reed.
Reed, yeah.
Reed, something went to Auburn.
Ooh!
Hey, that's a good shout out right there.
He's a cold shoe guard, honestly.
He was like a point, man. That kid from Fifth Ward, Texas, to Auburn.
He was cold.
Yeah,
I remember him. He was cold. I remember you took me over there to go watch
that was before my Houston Hoops times. Man.
He was cold.
It was some good players.
All right, we done talked about everything under the sun from youth sports, AAU. We done talked about culture with parents. We done talked about transfer portal. But one thing we always got to make sure we should give some shout out and some love to is the kicks on our shoes, kicks on our feet. We got this segment on the show called Rooted to the Ground, where we're going to highlight everybody that's on set, their feet work, as Shaq say today. So, Coach Big, Coach Christian, what you rooted to the ground today on your feet?
I'm kicks out of life, but I could have came with some more heat, but
it's a pilot episode. You know what I'm saying? I keep it light on them.
So I'm not a huge Air Force One guy, but I love the Army green. But these Air Force Ones are important to me, or they're special because it's the Gore-Tex, right?
Ooh.
That means water resistant. So.
Wait for that hurricane to come. You gotta be ready.
Rain ain't messing up my shoe game right here.
Flood,
and I'm a big outdoors person, so I like this. I like the Gore-Tex Air Force Ones.
All right, hey, watch out, man. For me on my feet today, man, we going with the Ivy Parks. Y'all know about the Adidas Ivy Park. That's Beyonce brand.
H-Town.
You know what I'm saying? We go with the Ivy Park Oswego knitted joints. It's a little chilly out. You know what I'm saying? I got to make sure we knitted. So that's, what I'm rooted to the ground with today. So that's what we always got to make sure that we represent, So every time we have guests on, they be wearing Brooks Brothers Brooks. we shout out their shoes.
I got
Cole Haas or whatever. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. This has been the pilot episode of Grassroots. This was an amazing way to start this new show here at Apollo Media, talking about youth sports, youth culture, and everything in between. We're going to have some awesome guests coming to you, telling their stories, give you some inside the behind-the-scenes curtain look at their program. Christian, thank you so much for coming on. Hey, you might be a really good co-host.
Man, I appreciate that. Hey, look, I look forward to talking about a plethora of topics, many sports from youth volleyball, football, baseball. We'll always have basketball covered here. Want to get into martial arts.
Yes.
Everything, and just talk about the things that affect youth sports in this generation, generations past, and the future generation in general, man. So I look forward to this. And, man, I love the energy, and let's get it popping.
Yeah, for sure. As always, y'all, go check us out at our parent network, Apollo Media, at Apollo HOU, everywhere on social media. Until then, the grass is always greener.